Go Patriots! Beautiful Thursday to you. I wanted to do just a quick video because I will be incommunicado for a short period of time, and I'm incredibly excited. You know, I'll just say I feel today, in the words of John Ward, I feel like a world champion. And not just because I get my hair did. I don't know if you probably can't tell. My hair's so dark you can't tell. Like, again, videos and stuff. Not just because of that, but my little family and I are going to visit my daddy in Tennessee, and my brother and my stepmama and all my family there, and I'm so excited. We try to see them, we try to visit once a year. Doesn't always work out that way. Life gets crazy sometimes, but this year is particularly exciting because as of today, April 18th, my father is celebrating 30 years of sobriety. It's a very big deal. And on the 8th of this month, April 8th of this, April 8th, it's redundant, I personally celebrated 7 years of sobriety. It's not something that I normally mention on my YouTube channel because I don't talk about personal things very often. No offense. I love y'all, but I talk about politics more. And it's not because I'm ashamed, because I'm completely unashamed. But this is the first year that I will be able to celebrate with my daddy. We have just 10 days that separate our birthdays. And it sounds so trite when you hear people say, oh, it's nothing I've done. That is legitimately true. It is absolutely nothing I have done. It's not. It's the grace of God. And again, that sounds cliche, but my will didn't get me sober. And it's not kept me sober. Because my will sucks. I tried that so many times with sobriety. I'm a recovered alcoholic. So many times I tried. Thought, if I just had strong enough willpower, if I just, white knuckle it. What my will always got me was nowhere. Actually, less than nowhere. It made me a very, first of all, angry person, a very broken person, and it made me pretty intolerable to be around at times. And so when I say that it's nothing that I've done, I felt led to do this video because I think that there are a lot of people that struggle with addiction. And maybe you're not, my father, I know he would not object to me sharing this information. Before he was given this gift of sobriety, my father was a heroin addict and an alcoholic, among other things. And it seems like every other person you talk to nowadays has struggled either with opioids, with the opioid crisis that's happened, or they have a family member who's an alcoholic, or they're struggling. And sobriety to me is a lot like, I think that's why I love jiu-jitsu so much, Because with my sobriety and with jiu-jitsu, there's no BSing it. That makes sense. Like, you can't fake it. Because jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, Gracie jiu-jitsu, which is what I practice, was invented by Master Elio Gracie for the specific purpose of equipping smaller people or weaker people like myself to defend themselves against an opponent who is larger and stronger and faster and would otherwise have the upper hand. Now, my Second Amendment rights give me the initial upper hand, and I pray I never ever have to practice the training that I hope I never have to employ the training that I practice with my firearms or with my jiu-jitsu. But that's the reason it was created. It's created for the weak to defend themselves. And so there's something that happens with jiu-jitsu that I can't personally attest to. It's just what y'all have told me, specifically men, because the plurality, I don't want to say the entirety, but the plurality of the people that I roll with are dudes. We've got a few really amazing chicks at our academy who are just, one that's a grade A badass, and I absolutely love them. But most of the people that practice, at least in my experience, are men. And so something happens when men come to jiu-jitsu and they try it for the first time that is very humbling. Because, and again, I can't get inside the mind of a man, but y'all rely on your strength, your muscles, your ability to power through, which is amazing. Obviously, that's what makes you the protectors of society, the protectors of the weak, and I'm speaking ideally of your wife and children and your nation. And so that's not a bad thing. That's a wonderful thing. And so a lot of men come into jiu-jitsu and they're paired with someone who's much smaller than them, who's been doing jiu-jitsu, practicing it for a period of time. And I'll give an example, an illustration of what my dad told me when he first started. He always was a athletic man, and he's a very imposing individual. He's like 6'2" or so, full sleeve tattoos, shaved head, and he had dabbled in martial arts for decades up to that point. I think he took Aikido and maybe like some Krav. Not sure, Daddy, you'd have to remind me. But the first time that he rolled, Alan, his coach, hi Alan, if you're watching this, I love y'all. Best academy, oh my goodness, Alpha Academy, Alpha Jiu-Jitsu Academy. But Alan paired my daddy with, I think it was Brent. It's either Brent or Jeremy. Again, if y'all are watching, I'm sorry if I'm butchering which one of y'all rolled against my dad. But both gentlemen, they were much younger guys, were smaller than my dad by quite a margin. And my dad kind of looked at Alan and laughed a bit and said, I don't want to hurt anybody, And Alan just nodded and said, I think it'll be okay. And so my dad rolled with him. And I want to say it was Jeremy. Rolled with Jeremy, and he didn't even get through the entire roll. He said that that kid felt like a lead blanket on top of him. He couldn't move. He just tied him up in knots, tied my dad up in knots. My dad said that it would, after the roll, there was this sweeping revelation of, wow, like my muscles mean nothing. It means nothing. So I tell that story because with jiu-jitsu, I know that when I step out on the mat, if someone taps me, if I tap in a roll, it's because their technique beat mine. Their technique was superior in that round. Period. I can't blame anything else. There are no more weights to put on the bench press. There's no extra miles that I need to go run. It's that I need to practice more. Technique, technique, technique. I need to master my technique. And with sobriety, it's your effectiveness in jiu-jitsu and sobriety both rely on something else. Something apart from your just complete willpower. With sobriety, I can't stay sober in myself. I will fail. Because as I said, my will is the saboteur of my life. My will. I have to get myself out of the way. And I have to stay connected to the one person that I know can keep me sober, and that's Jesus. That's Christ. And so if I'm not doing that every single day, I will not stay sober. And with jiu-jitsu, if I'm not with both disciplines, with both areas of my life, I have to be consistent. With jiu-jitsu, I can't go to class once a month and expect to maintain my technique or be effective. I can't. And with my sobriety, I can't expect to sometimes give my will and my life over to God, just kind of when I think about it or feel like it. But then some days take it back up and say, no, you know what? I think I'm good. I think I got this today. God, I think I'm going to go ahead and take the reins. It doesn't work. I don't know if that analogy made any sense. But if there is anyone watching this and you battle with addiction of any kind, an obsession followed by a compulsion, that's the definition of addiction. There is hope. There's light. My father's a walking miracle. People that were as far gone as him don't come back. And if someone had not laid these tools at my feet 7 years ago, I don't like to think about where I might have been. I don't believe that I would have a family. There are tools, there's a set of tools that work. And I'm not going to tell you it's easy. It's not. You have to be brutally honest with yourself. But I will tell you that if you have the courage, if you just have the courage to be that brutally honest with yourself, it will be the best decision and the best life that you can't even imagine it. You cannot imagine what life is like. A sober life. I wouldn't trade it. If someone had a check and they told me that they would write any amount in it for me to hand over the 7 years that I've lived, these past 7 years that I've lived, there's no amount high enough. There isn't. So if you're watching this, I pray that you reach out, DM me. Seriously, find me on social media. Post a comment. There's help, there's hope, and I want it for you. That's all I've got for now. I love y'all so much, and I'll talk to you real soon. God bless.